Alright, so, where do I begin? I have a lot to say on this game, and the Spider-Man in general, and everything. Okay, so we're gonna start here. We're gonna start right here. Let's talk about Rocksteady Studio. Rocksteady Studio is a talented bunch of people, but one of the things I loved about them is that they understand Batman. If Rocksteady Studio understands the core of what makes Batman who he is, through gameplay, music, story, characters, voice acting, all of that, they just all in one package just give you a truly amazing a Batman experience with the Arkham games. Despite how everyone feels about Arkham Knight, that game is still fun and still feels like a Batman game. Insomniac gets Spider-Man. They live it, they breathe it, they understand the core fundamentals of what makes this character great, and they understand what makes Spider-Man special. And so a lot of people always ask me, well, what is it that you love about Spider-Man? What is it that why do you always come back to this character? And for me, the core of what Spider-Man is that he is me, he is you, he is everybody. He's us. He is one of us. I always say that. Spider-Man's one of us. Why? Because he's got to deal with what life throws at him. Responsibilities. Everything. Through friendships. The responsibility of friendship, responsibility of life, everything. Life throws so much bullshit at him. Life throws hard shit at us. But you know what Spider-Man teaches us? That you can rise above it. And that all of us are Spider-Man. Whether you're a Spider-Woman or Spider-Man, all of us have been where Spider-Man's been. We've all had falling outs with friends, falling out with family. You know, you probably didn't get the job you always wanted, or you probably didn't get into the perfect college you wanted, or whatever bullshit you've ever been through in life, whatever life has thrown at you, Spider-Man's gone through it. And to me, what Spider-Man always teaches us is that no matter what bullshit we go through, we can always rise up against it. We may get knocked down, we get hit, we get beat, get knocked down, we'd be like, fuck life, like life is so unfair and shit, you just want to lay down. But Spider-Man teaches us that no matter what, you can always get back up. So, to me, Spider-Man is all of us. He's a man of the people. That's why I keep saying he's a man of the people. And in Spider-Man PS4, Insomniac gets it. They lived it and they understood this. So for this game, Miles is all of that, but told in Miles' way. What is Miles' struggles? What is Miles? What does he fight for? What is the things that is special to him? What are the things he wants to do in his life? What is this type of superhero he wants to be? And all of this is answered through playing this game. And I've got to say, it has been a fucking blast playing this game. This is like taking the character from the comics and bringing it into a video game and you're playing it. This game just nails it. They get it. Insomniac gets it. And I cannot be more proud. But the thing I love so much about this is that I've never been a Miles fan. I've got to be real with you guys. I've never really liked Miles as a character. I've always kind of like thought of him as a Spider-Man that's, you know, I've always thought he was just a token Spider-Man. And some of my viewpoints are kind of that, but Spider-Verse, and especially this game, have shown me that all of us can be Spider-Man. And if I gotta stick with that thing, what I just said, all of us can be Spider-Man, then Miles can be Spider-Man. Because he is unique in his own right. Not, and I'm not talking through powers. I'm talking to what he goes through. And I think this, I will say right here, this screen, this title screen right here, is the perfect example of Miles as a character. While Spider-Man, while Peter Parker Spider-Man, everyone knows him, so he's the guardian of the city. Miles Spider-Man is the guardian of Harlem. And throughout this whole story is him trying to figure out what type of superhero he needs to be. By the end of the story, he is Harlem Spider-Man, and he looks after the bodega people, the people in the bodega. He looks after that one mute girl that do sign language to speak, but does art on the street. He looks after the feast people, all of Harlem. Again, Insomniac gets it, and Insomniac has shown me that anybody, just like Spider-Verse said, anybody could be Spider-Man, and they do it so well, so good. Honestly, it brings tears to my eyes that to see that Miles stands on his own 2 feet. He never, throughout this whole entire game, he never does, and I'm sorry when people are gonna hate when I say this, he never does what fucking MCU Spider-Man does. It constantly sucks Tony's dick. Miles never once sucks Peter's dick in this game. No. Instead, it is always Miles making decisions that he thinks he wants to do. It's always what he believes. I've got to say, this is the most amazing fucking Spider-Man game. And from here on, I think Miles will stand the test of time. I think Miles, next to Peter Parker, Spider-Man, will stand the test of time to all of us. So I officially think he's a Spider-Man. I officially give him that title. He may not be my Spider-Man. Obviously, Peter is always going to be my Spider-Man. But Miles is Spider-Man. This game is so fucking amazing. I can't even go on and on through everything. I will say what they do with the story in this game is so good, but what they do with characters from the comics, again, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it, is so good if you know the comics. Some of the changes in here is really cool. I gotta say, this is my favorite interpretation of Yankee, Miles' best friend. Favorite interpretation of him. I love Miles' mom. There's a whole reason why I believe he's Harlem's guardian, and it makes sense because his mom is a politician. So Miles walks with the people. Literally walks with the people. This right here, this opening right here, this menu screen right here shows you that he's among the people, and to me that is Spider-Man. Anywho, I can't go on about this game. Go play it. It isn't perfect. I think what holds this back from being as good as Spider-Man PS4 is that it is a expansion pack. It feels like an expansion pack. Like, honestly, they could have put this on the PS4, put this on the PS4 Spider-Man game as DLC, and I've been completely fine with it because it is short. Some of the story beats that they have in this game is really fucking good, and it's really good, but I feel like they only matter because you played the side missions. And if you didn't play the side missions, you would feel like it's kind of rushed. That's why I feel like if this game had more of a time, some of the storylines with Tinkerer would have been way more fleshed out. That relationship between Tinkerer and Miles, which to me takes the classic 101 of Spider-Man storytelling. Have the main protagonist and the superhero persona and the person's persona clash. That's what makes a good Spider-Man story, is when the personal life clashes with the superhero life. And they found a way to do it with the Tinkerer. At first, I wasn't on board with the female Tinkerer. I gotta keep saying this. I wasn't on board, but fucking Insomniac has won me over. I don't know how these motherfuckers get it, but they get it. And there's stuff with that could be more fleshed out if they had time. And this game it feels short. It feels like an 8-hour story, and most of it has to be filled in through side objective. Like the stakes, I felt the stakes were high because I was so connected to Harlem. And I wouldn't have been so connected to Harlem and remember the bodega dude with the cat, the goddamn Feast Gloria, the Feast lady from the first game, who was inspired by Spider-Man. The simple act of being inspired by somebody made her run her own feast in Harlem. So when you get to that final part in this game, which is epic, by the way, just as epic, not as emotional epic as Spider-Man PS4, but still epic. The first people that ran through my mind was those characters that I met. The mute girl. She actually gives you one of my favorite costumes in the game, which is a simple costume, but it reminds me so much of the scene in Spider-Man 2 where that geek girl that obviously has a crush on Peter. Peter's going through so much hardships throughout that whole movie, and she offers him fucking cookies. Again, I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's so much goodness to this game, and I wish this game had more time, because I really love Miles in this game, and I really love the world that they've created. I just wish this was more thing. So I think that's my biggest complaint, is that it's short, and I really wish they could have fleshed things out. They could have fleshed out more. But given that this is just an expansion, this feels like an expansion pack, they didn't have time. But what I can say is, if you love Spider-Man PS4, if you want to play a young, inexperienced Spider-Man with cool new powers, and they do some really cool stuff with his powers in this game, and improvements to the last game, I highly recommend you check out Miles Morales Spider-Man. Even if it's on the PS4, this game runs pretty smooth on the PS4. There were some glitches, but for the most part, this was the Spider-Man. This is, once again, Insomniac gets it. I keep saying that, but they get it. And you know, if you could get it on the PS5, get it. But if you buy it on the PS4, don't worry, you can transfer all your saves and also play the PS5 version, and that's gonna have some nice features on it. But no matter where you play this game, you owe it to yourself as a Spider-Man fan, and even if you're not Spider-Man fan, to play this game. This is by far one of the best Spider-Man experience. This and Spider-Man PS4 is the quintessential Spider-Man games to me. So thank you, Insomniac. I cannot wait for Spider-Man 2. I cannot wait, and I guarantee, and I fucking want Miles to be playable in Spider-Man 2. After you give me all the cool web powers, and give me those tricks, the tricks Miles do in this game is so fucking fantastic. You need to have him be playable in the sequel. You need to. It better be him tag teaming with Peter. Make it co-op, make it online co-op, that's even better, but I don't care. Just give me both Miles and Peter together. This is a Spider-Man. This is a Spider-Man story that takes risks and isn't afraid to change up the status quo. Unlike some fucking guys, unlike 2 studios, they're not afraid to take some risk. Thank you. I'm proud of them. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Fuck MCU Spider-Man. And Insomniac, keep doing your shit. Later.